and welcome back to the Spider's Web. Yes, finally here. We're now starting Elder Sign. So let's crack open the box and get the game sorted out. Take out our rule book. You don't get this with the game. This is just a little dice bag purchased, and it's got all the monster tokens in there that we can sort out later when we find out which of the great old ones we'll be facing. Have our clock, have our little tubs with clue tokens, the dreaded doom tokens, sanity tokens, character tokens, stamina tokens, and the much sought after Elder Sign. Next we have our dice. Let's take these out of the pack. Then we have our Mythos cards. There we go. There's all the Mythos cards. Then we have our items, spells and ally cards. Now these tuck boxes I downloaded from Board Game Geek. I will put a link in the description bar to the part where I got them from, so if you want them you can get them. On the tuck box for these cards there is a spelling mistake that's been corrected since, but I've not bothered getting another one. Then we have the museum entrance card, and finally we have the player cards, the other world cards, the monster card, or the great old one cards, and the museum cards. So now we've got all those together, let me just set them out on the table and we'll begin. And as you can see, we're all set up. I'm just going to show you now the characters we've picked. They're all sorted, so I can give you a close-up of the cards and what they have. Starting off with Joe Diamond. He starts off with 4 sanity, with 6 stamina. He starts with a common item and a clue token, and each time Joe spends 1 clue token he gains a second free reroll as though he'd spent a second clue token. And the common item he's got is a lucky cigarette case, which allows him to open the yellow dice. Next we have Kate Winthrop. She has 6 sanity, 4 stamina. Monsters cannot appear during Kate's turn, and in addition she's immune to all terror effects. And she starts off with a spell, which in this case is Find Gate, so she can discard to draw 1 other world card and place it below the 6 adventure cards. And she's got a unique item, which is the alien statue, which allows her to open the red die. Next we have Amanda Sharp. She starts off with 5 sanity and 5 stamina. She starts off with 2 items from the spell, common or unique item decks. So I got a common and a unique, and they both allow her to open up the red die. And she can, during her turn, she can complete any number of tasks per roll instead of only 1. And finally we have Sister Mary. She has 7 sanity but only 3 stamina. She can ignore any lingering effects of the Mythos cards, and she may also ignore locked die icons during her turn, allowing her to add them to her dice pool as normal, and at the end of her turn all locked dice return to her locked dice icons. And she starts off with a common item, which is the .45 automatic, which allows her to open up the yellow die, the king in yellow, which allows her to open up the red die, and the red sign of Shudmel, which allows her to open up, also allows her to lock a die. So that's the characters we've got. We've got the character cards, or character tokens, on the museum entrance card. We have the Great Old One cards here, we've got the adventure cards here, and the Otherworld cards here, the Mythos cards up here, and the clock there, as you can see. We have two piles of monster cards because I don't know as yet what monster it's going, or what Great Old One it's going to be, and these are only used with one Great Old One. So I'm going to put the camera back down now, and then we can sort out which of the Great Old Ones we're going to be using and start off with the game. Okay, so won't be a second. Okay, so let's shuffle the Great Old One cards. We don't know who's what, who's why, and whatever. What we're going to do now is just take one from the deck, which is this one, and we're facing Yig. So we'll place him up there. He needs 10 Elder Sign to keep him asleep. We can put these cards back now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use those 4 characters. I'm not going to use any more. So once they've been devoured, then once one's been devoured, then that's it. We carry on with 3, and then if another one gets devoured, we carry on with 2, and so on. I'm not going to carry on through as it states in the rules. Why have I put the dice in the dice bag? Because I wanted to put the monster cards in there, and the ones with the small pile of monster cards have been removed because we don't use them with Yig. But what happens with Yig? Well, let's have a look. He needs 10 Elder Signs. He gets 8 Doom tokens before he gets woken up. Each time an investigator either completes a task on a cultist monster marker or an investigator is reduced to 0 sanity or stamina, the investigators lose 1 Elder Sign if they have any. And for an attack, excuse me, when Yig awakens, each investigator must lose 1 common item, 1 unique item and 1 spell or be devoured. When Yig attacks, each investigator must either discard 1 clue token or lose 1 stamina and 1 sanity. Right, what I'm going to do now is get the adventure cards sorted out. So we'll give them a shuffle. Not a very good one, I admit. I'm not very good at shuffling. Let's do a bit of a riffle shuffle on here. Let's cut the cards, and again, and again, and again. And then we place out 6 of these cards. We've got the Archives, we've got Secret Gathering, we have Forgotten Knowledge, we have A Terrible Discovery, When Night Falls, and Stay Away from the Windows. Okay, you will see on some of them that they have items which have a white border. On those ones, when a monster card is drawn, when one of these monster tokens is drawn, they will be placed on either that one or that one first. If there isn't any of those on the table with the white border, then they get placed underneath and are used in addition to what's already there. The ones you don't see yet will have a little arrow icon on this side. They will have to be done in order. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the rules, but I will go through them just to be on the safe side. Every time a character completes a turn, the clock moves around a quarter of an hour. When it gets back up to 12, a new mythos card gets turned over. If there's any of these on that one it's a terror effect. If there's an at midnight effect, that will come into play. So at midnight, any cards, any of these mythos cards which have the at midnight effect on it will be brought into play. Same with these cards, any at midnight effects always happen at midnight, and then everything else is straightforward. What we'll do is, when we go onto a card, say for instance character comes along here, we'll roll all 6 of the green dice, and what we're trying to do is match the symbols that are on the card with the green dice. So here I've matched a terror icon, so I can put that on there. So now I can re-roll the dice and see if I can do the other one. I've got 2 of those. Unfortunately I don't have the skull icon, but what I can do is I can lock that onto my character card, but I will have to lose a dice. So now I only have 3 dice to use to try and get a scroll and a skull. I didn't get any, so I'll lose another dice and try again. I got the scroll, but I didn't get the skull, so that one I've lost. So because I've lost, I now have to take the effects of that side of the card, so I would lose here 2 sanity and 2 stamina. If I'd completed it, I would have gained a clue token, a unique item and an elder sign. If I'd have chose to play that card, I could have brought the red dice into play. The red die is a unique die because it has that symbol on it, which is a wild, it's like a wild card. So that can take the place of any other symbol. The yellow die is a unique die because it does not have a terror icon on it. Okay, is there anything else I need to go over? Yes, every time a character is devoured, either loses all sanity or loses all health, then we add a doom token to the doom track. As I say, we need to get 10 elder signs, but if we get 8 doom tokens, Yig wakes up, and then we just battle Yig. We don't bother with these anymore. The clue tokens basically will allow me to, this is a clue token, it will allow me to re-roll as many dice as I wish. There are also these cards which are otherworld cards. They will come out if I defeat a card which has that symbol on it. And these symbols will give me elder signs, it can give me spells, common items, various other bits and pieces. They can even bring, even if you win, a monster out, as it shows on here. On here you'll get an elder sign, an otherworld card, a clue token, plus a monster. So they're not necessarily all good, but then again they're not necessarily bad. Okay, if I move the camera down here, we can have a look at the entrance tile. If we don't move onto another tile and we stay there, we can, for free, heal 1 sanity or 1 stamina. If we have 2 trophies, now the trophies are these when you've defeated them, so that is 2 trophies. You can fully regain a stamina or a sanity, or if you pay 4 trophies you can fully regain both. Or you can go to search the lost and found, and you roll a green dice, and depending on what the symbol shows, you can either lose 1 sanity or stamina. If you roll an investigation icon, if you roll a scroll you gain a clue token. If you roll a skull you gain a common item, and if you roll a terror you gain a spell. Or you can buy things using your trophies. So for 1 trophy you can buy a clue token, for 2 trophies you can buy a common item, for 3 trophies you can buy a unique item, for 4 trophies you can buy a spell, for 5 trophies you can buy an ally, and for 10 trophies you can buy an elder sign. So I think that's it. I don't think there's much else to go through. Anything else that we need to go through can be run off through the game. So let's pause there. I'll reposition the camera so we're looking down on the table from a different angle and we can see how things go. Okay, so see you in a second.